acid we've received. So maybe this game will continue that on. Round 2 of the 7-Eleven Slurpee Cup starts right here. You're watching the RLCS.
I do think it's going to be difficult. This FaZe team, they're one of the best in the world. You can say what you want about their struggles in the region to consistently find the grand finals. They've only been in one regional grand finals, and that was before they picked Typical up. And that was the whole way back in the fall, the very first fall regional that we had. But for this FaZe team, they're pretty good. However, Achieves, it's a little different today. Shad gets a big 50 in complexity, get the first goal.
It was always going to be just drive the ball up the sidewall, go for some air dribble, see what happens. Shad runs out of boost, gets the ball popped right back into his nose, and ends up hitting a bullet into the right side of the FaZe net. Of course, that's how it's going to open up.
First killer, immediately 50'd. Typical's forced back. See Typical pop this ball up. Got the reset. AJG followed him perfectly. Love AJG's choice of wheels today. Very fashionable. Raise Bull's going to push that ball across. Complexity having some early issues here, getting out on defense. Shad looking for a hole, but first killer actually doesn't even get the bump on the Shad. Shad almost took it himself. No boost left. Raise Bull pushing it across the box, and AJG had pulled off, expecting that 50 to come out. And a lot of interesting challenges on the ball for Complexity.
Oh, surprised to see AJG lift that one forward instead of going for the consistent back pass, but that's okay, because now FaZe trying to press, and this whole series is going to 100% be decided by who has the most boost. If you are boost starving your opponent, you are winning the game. Like, there's just going to be so much required to get up and consistently be in time to challenge plays. If you're getting boost starved at all, you're just toasting this one.
I'm really curious how wasteful we'll see players be, because I mean, Shad on the last rotation, he had used all of his boost to jump down into midfield while his team was still on defense. Granted, AJG made the 50s happen, but imagine that 50 goes the other way, and then you look kind of like a fool for wasting all your boost to go get a canister on the other side of the field. So you certainly got to watch out for those things, and one wrong challenge and you're caught out of position. Complexity have held on defense for a while here, and FaZe have actually had trouble getting quality opportunities on net. Raise Bull rips one on AJ. AJG gets the rebound. Shad's a little off on this play. FaZe will get the clear and the transition.
Ooh, skip, okay. This is so interesting because both teams certainly going to be more than happy with the dump and chase, because the boost game, like we said, is going to be quite important. First killer actually misses the first shot, pulls out the defender, and somehow able to squeeze it into the top of the net. Okay.
I mean, Raise Bull's just got to come up with that touch. You go up for that clear, you got to be able to make that read. And you can't give first killer a free rebound. I mean, even first killer had to stretch for that one still. One given to FaZe.
And
Raise Bull. Ooh, back to AJG. But yes, panic, you were saying.
It's stressful, man. I would hate playing in a series like this. Just knowing that you have to be going pretty much full speed the whole time. Your room for error is just so small. And that can more often than not result in a lot of mistakes. Is actually Raise Bull and AJG collide there. AJG, though, nice job recovering, and chance for Raise Bull. They freeze AJ on the back line. It's off the bar. Shad just trying to keep things in the mix to buy time for them to rotate back. And FaZe going to hold him off one more time.
Not a lot of boost here for first killer. Rips it off the back wall, and it comes for free for AJ. Nobody challenges FaZe, and they get the goal.
Let's see here. Raise Bull too aggressive, and AJG just crossed up on the goal line. Had plenty of boost, but I mean, just couldn't stay with it around the corner.
Was he expecting Raise Bull to go for it? Like, feels like a miscommunication there, because you think you just jump for that read.
You'd have to one way or the other. And you see what happens when you don't.
Right in your net. Well, Complexity. They'll have FaZe sneak through. Even on one here. Shad drilling the 50 forward for AJG. Wins the touch. Gonna take a little more than that. Raise Bull crashing. And Shad gonna come back across. Complexity have something here as we approach the final minute. Game number 1. Well, first killer's just gonna take it himself. And RazeBull gets the cutout back over to AJG. He sees Shad on the wing, rips it on target. Oh, it's above the crossbar. Rebound, and it's saved by Typical. Comes across. Shad rips another one up. Gets the demo.
Okay.
RazeBull scores a complexity tie.
Way to stick with that, Shad. Had a couple different looks at it. Finally gets one more time, and even that's high, but it's okay. His teammates all there, and RazeBull will deliver him a nice assist. That was tough if you're Shad. You're like blinking and just shaking your head like, come on, just put it in the open
One of
net.
these, please go in.
It's okay. That's why we have teammates. You can always depend on RazeBull to be there.
It's surprising that they were able to get by FaZe on every rebound, too. AJ forced back. Gets the touch. And a decent recovery to scoop the ball up back over to the ramp. RazeBull steals the ball away. Forces first killer to go wide. Scoops that ball across back over to AJ. We've just been going laterally. Finally goes forward. Shad gets a free pass to AJG. Has RazeBull on the wing, but didn't get the touch that he wanted out of it. 2 still commit from FaZe as AJG gets demoed. Forced 50 by RazeBull. Gives some time for him to respawn and get re-kitted as Shad punches the ball across. The end of regulation looming. AJG. Next chance for him. Typical's got no boost. Back over to RazeBull. Shad in the middle of the field. Forces the 50. Back to RazeBull. Shots low, and Typical's got the clear at the end. Does he have a play? AJG scoops the ball away. First killer gets bumped out, and we're going to overtime in game 1.
Could have been a scary one if first killer had been allowed to continue past the midfield line unchallenged. He certainly would have had a chance to go for the double tap off the backboard, and this one gonna bring it onto the floor, and it's really got Shad, and not. They need a lot of help. All 3 members of Complexity gonna congeal on the ball in the middle of the net, somehow keep things out. Huge save, but FaZe not done pressing. Here's AJ.
Oh, AJ saved by Shad, and RazeBull's ready to carry it back out. First killer racing back. Typical also in the air. RazeBull drops it down, and first killer gets a hard punch. AJG has to race back, but he's got the touch. Complexity, tough one there on the transition.
Ooh, it's too far. Oh, Shad was trying to take a super aggressive line there to make sure he was the first one to the ball. And if it had been a target, I think they score, but it's going to drip into the middle for AJG. RazeBull will deliver a game-winning pass. What a setup. And Complexity going to push FaZe down a notch.
F. What do you make of it?
Chaos, man. Listen, you know, this FaZe Clan team has been ultra hot lately, but this Complexity squad, like I said, they're really just kind of, we know their skill level, and they're just elevating it step by step by step. Is this the tournament it happens? I don't know about all that, but these are the results that we shouldn't be overwhelmingly surprised at. I mean, you know, we've been seeing plays. All right, this is FaZe Clan. First killer does that over and over again, but we've been seeing Shad and the boys do things like this.
Yes.
For a long time. Nothing from Torrent.
What?
Zanil.
And then game
2 is real.
Zanil.
Game 2, version 1 does score twice right away, but before the 4th minute, Torrent already answers back. They're trailing 2-1, but this Torrent team's really hot today. I'm just saying.
You know,
I'm
Chiefs, you talked about seeing them in the AAA Challenger Series and really liking Zanil. I remember looking at Zanil before they had played in that, before the first regional, and thinking, I think he could be the right piece for Torrent in that puzzle.
Ooh.
But how about what's going on the pitch right now in Aquadome? RazeBull gives Complexity the early lead.
Really great lift from AJG, forces first killer up, and honestly, not a bad touch. First killer has to get up that early, take that away, take away the backboard, or perhaps an air dribble into the net. Gets a pretty decent play, and RazeBull just playing the game the right way, understands where the clear could potentially be headed, positioned well, able to capitalize. And again, a nice early lead for Complexity.
AJG underneath on the reset. First killer scoops the ball away from him. FaZe, they've had a lot of difficulty actually getting consistent quality opportunities on net. We didn't see a lot of them in game number 1. Yeah, you saw the one attempt from first killer, but even that one came off of a miss from RazeBull on the backboard. If Complexity are looking clean on defense, FaZe don't have much to speak of in terms of offense, and for the highest outputting offensive team in North America, it has to be better against a team like Complexity.
Certainly does. But that being said, I was kind of noticing at the end of the last game. Oh my gosh.
What were you noticing?
That Typical just got absolutely obliterated by how disgusting this looks. What?
What? Shad pushed it into AJG's hood, and it skips off of his car and goes the opposite direction. Yo, Psionics, can we get the physics code breakdown on that one?
Unfair is the readout, Jorby.
Unfair is the readout. It feels like it. Oh man, that's crazy. I can't believe that's the second goal. Typical. Popping that one across. FaZe got to respond.
I'm scared for FaZe Clan right now. 2 early goals like that. I was about to bring up a point that I felt like the rotation back away from offense for Complexity a lot of times has actually been fairly disciplined. They haven't been trying to just face ram every opportunity, and they've actually found themselves in some fairly defensible positions, even if they are mechanically demanding. And I think they're okay with taking that little bit of risk, especially now with a big 2-goal lead early on. You may be able to just kind of sit back here and force FaZe to make a big play.
Razeball's got a nice catch here. That is going to stall out FaZe even farther. He's AJ having to come back on the rotation, expecting the play to move forward, and instead they have to rotate back. Razeball not a lot of boost. We'll buy a little bit of time for AJG to respawn. He's up in the air for it, and he's got the touch. AJ on the rebound, denied by AJG. First killer with the boost steal, and just wants to keep the ball away from Complexity. Gets some consecutive touches. Here's one back. The first killer drops it straight down to Typical, and it's saved. Goal, is it there? No! AJG gets the save, and Shad pulls it back out. That was 2 shots for FaZe, 2 duds.
First killer, in my heart, you scored that ball. That would have been a beautiful attempt past the first killer. Shad there to cut it down. And FaZe, you can feel it really trying to increase pace of play, trying to get up early for these long clears out of their own half, trying to catch out Complexity. Unfortunately for them, still not enough. Time continuing to tick down. Only 2 minutes left.
Up in front, FaZe finally breaks through. Last man in net couldn't get up there in time. Typical. There's strikes.
2 people in net, actually. Razeball here, he doesn't even jump, and I don't know why. Like, he had 74 boost. I went to his camera. I have no idea why he didn't jump right there to defend the top left corner, because in my head, all that did was give away the solo effort to the defense, and maybe there was some call out there that froze him on the front post, but
Typical
that's a big one to give up. Yeah, he's with stern glare,
use
intimidation,
super effective. First killer puts that one up against the bar. Shad lost, and AJG has to slip back in. Ooh, he wins the next touch too. Razeball deletes one defender, has control. Razeball takes it to Shad and gets the 2-goal lead back.
Oh, it's not even fair. First killer rotating back, sees his teammate get demoed, knows he's in the one-on-one. Actually pretty well positioned, but that hard cut from Razeball. First killer couldn't commit to being as aggressive as he would like, because if he did, big chance he gets demoed. Tries to take a little bit of a safer line and just gets passed on. Tough.
Are we really? Is this about to happen for Complexity?
It's happening, Jorby.
They haven't had a lot of success. Now, granted, the last time they played FaZe was the whole way back in fall. They played FaZe twice in the fall, and they split against them. Now, as we've been saying, that was back when Complexity were playing like a top 5 North American team. They haven't looked like that since the fall regionals. And now they haven't matched up against each other, but against all other top 5 teams in points, Complexity have like a 33% win percentage, and that's going to be wide. Unfortunate for FaZe. Razeball going to put that across, maybe get a pass and a shot, but AJ was expecting first killer to be there, who was actually playing the loss on the 50. He gets a nice touch back to first killer, back to AJ. I love the touch, and FaZe, the creativity breaks through.
Now that's the real play for FaZe. A lot of misdirection and big fake plays where they can just take the ball away from a defense that's been sitting back on the goal line and up on the backboard. And if you can just drop it straight down in the middle of the box, you know you're going to have somebody right next to you who's got a lot of space to shoot with. That could be a big key to success for FaZe. It's just a matter of, can you find those touches, because they're not easy to come by in the right situation. Is that just open?
Oh, first killer got back. You saw Razeball and AJG weren't even expecting it. They were beyond the midfield line. Complexity now back on defense. Razeball gets bodied off the ball, still stays with it, and somehow comes up with the touch. They're all talking about never quitting on the play. He's going to have to stay at work. Here comes Typical. Oh, what a goal! Tie game!
How does Typical just get through for free here? Shad goes to try and steal midfield boost. He's doing nothing. Razeball's right under Typical and can't do anything. AJG's on the backboard, so he can't defend the bottom of the net. That's just a total collapse from Complexity in terms of positioning.
had a chance to close it. And now FaZe just might have found the back door. Saved by Shad. He made his car huge. He's got to come up with another one. And Razeball falls down back on top of it. But FaZe have all the momentum at the end of regulation. AJG pushes it across. FaZe still looking for it. Back pass from First Killer. Back to Typical, who's been the hot hand. Here he comes again. Reset available. Whoa, saved by Razeball. We go to overtime.
Was right on it. Great save from Razeball, timing it nicely off the backboard, but this would be a tough loss for Complexity to handle. Such an early dominating lead, and you kind of just slowly dribbled it away because you collapsed on defense here or there. We'll see if they can bring it back in OT. That demo may help. A lot of pressure on AJ to make a big play, and First Killer will return the favor to not allow too much pressure for Complexity.
Oh, the pass from AJ to Typical goes back over to the wall. AJG there to meet him on the challenge. First Killer next up in the rotation. Pops it across over to AJ. Razeball has to come off the ground. On the wall, taken away by Shad. And all those options covered on defense, but still FaZe press forward. Typical again! The hat trick gives FaZe the Aquadome victory in game 2.
What a touch from First Killer. Bombed it across the pitch, and AJG, can't blame him that time. That cross was just too good. Again, taking it well away from the defenders, deep towards the midfield line. Nobody able to go out there and really challenge it. And Typical, perfect strike. 3 for 10, but that's okay. It's 3 that really mattered. And FaZe Clan able to battle back on what I thought was going to be an honest loss. Like, thought Complexity was definitely going to be able to just hold on to that one if they played a little more passive, but here and there, FaZe Clan picked them apart. Well-deserved win in game 2.
Mobile One High Performance Replay will have some action, but F-Dot, I want your thoughts and maybe some updates if we got them.
My thoughts here is that FaZe Clan, I love to root for Complexity. I love to root for FaZe. They're both doing it. They're both doing it well here. So I'm, again, just enjoying it. I'm going to sip my Slurpee and lean back. Have fun, guys.
That was tasty. We'll have to ask him what flavor later. But
For real.
You know, Shad going to put this out across. I think the most impressive thing to me about FaZe in that last game achieves was just the creativity on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times in the past do you see someone on FaZe think they have to take the game over themselves, and when things don't go their way, but they go down by 2, and what do they do on offense? They get more creative, they get more selfless, and that just made them so much more of a threat down the pitch.
Selflessness is incredibly powerful as well when everybody is as mechanically sound as FaZe is, because in general, as long as you've got the communication going, you can bet you can put the ball just about anywhere. They're going to be able to make something happen some ways. AJ on his lonesome here, a little soft touch, and Shad quickly into the corner. It's been very proactive defense for Complexity. They have had to spend the past couple of minutes from this game and the previous really trying to buckle down on defense. It's not been the easiest way through for them, and they start finding some stronger clears. They'd be able to give themselves a few breaths of fresh air to try and force FaZe Clan back onto the defensive.
Complexity have been stuck on defense. You see First Killer going to wait for AJG and Razeball. This time, Complexity forced to get more creative on defense. Typical doesn't get the canister, has to launch it downfield, meaning AJ has to wait as well. This could be Complexity's chance to stabilize. They spent that whole first minute on the blue half. Good win by Razeball there to AJG.
Nice.
Keeps it tight back to Razeball. No one gets the touch. AJG still in front, and First Killer pops it back up. Shad looking back to AJG. You think it starts to develop, but FaZe have been behind that ball every time they get the clear.
I love how stoic First Killer is on defense. I mean, he got caught 1 or 2 steps forward there on that dribble, but even still, he forced the hesitation out of that Complexity approach, really just saying, if you're going to beat me, do it. And Complexity were like, we can't.
I mean, those small touches are still kind of messing up their rotations too, but that's a nice touch. Back to Razeball! Oh my goodness, no one saw that redirect coming. 1-0.
I want to hit this one all the time, and Razeball showing me how to do it. What? He even flipped at the end of it to put a little extra sauce into the top right corner. What a shot.
Money. First Killer off the kickoff. Start to push for FaZe. Got a nice dribble and the demo and the goal! First Killer drives through the defense. And FaZe tied up.
No chance here for the defense. First Killer, that's a great air dribble. Perfect demo. And AJG, how can you hope to save the bullet into the top of your net through the smoke screen? And AJG following that touch and demo up so quick. No way to keep it out. What a sequence from FaZe.
Always going to be the difficulty facing FaZe on offense. You can hold them for an entire minute and think, okay, we totally got this rhythm down. We got the 50s. There's no way they can blow through us anymore. And then first killer's like, cool, I'm going to go supersonic
up and
on
like,
an air dribble. GG.
It's just bonkers. Like FaZe consistently trying to find ways to increase pace of play in every facet. And really, Complexity are playing a great game. It's just the execution from FaZe on some of those where the pace is so bonkers is to be commended.
I mean, it's just like you said, you got 3 mechanical maniacs on your team, and when anyone can just grab the ball in midfield and, oh, hang on a second, passes denied by first killer, patiently waited for it. Now it's got redirect, but taken away by Shad. AJ on target, taken away by AJG. Raise bull up for this. Typical a little slow. He does get the bump on the raise bull, but Shad gonna push forward. AJG coming to support. Complexity, the play dies again. They just didn't have any read in the corner, and they have to restart.
Yeah. That's the big thing for Complexity. Still a little bit sluggish on the follow-ups in terms of offense, and that could just be because they've had to get pushed back so far, so often. Raise bull stretching, and unfortunately couldn't get all the way back down. Him and Cyclical going to collide in the middle of the box, try and throw a few wrenches into the gears of First Killer and Co.
Whoa.
And unfortunately for them, FaZe is out essentially for free.
And Complexity got to work for this. And Typical got the 50 out, bought AJ time to reset. You can hear AJG and Shad both up for it. AJG reading that Shad just didn't have the read. Probably got called off there. It's Raise Bull. Just didn't have the boost to catch that ball away from Sypical. No Complexity getting to every touch. This little touch right here from First Killer. AJG's got to find a way to protect this and get a follow-up. And they don't have it. They get a bump on the First Killer on the back end. But again, it's Shad having to roll around his own corner. And he just gives it up to AJ with no boost. First Killer cuts off the rotation again. Complexity good for some consecutive touches. They finally break out here. Can they hold on to it?
It looks to me like Complexity's. Oh, hang on, you're right. I wanted to see something from Shad there. I was like, wait.
I saw him catch that, and I'm like, oh, he might do something there. Pass over to AJ, and that's going to be a tough angle for him to get the redirect. AJ set up by First Killer. Diving stop by Raise Bull. Pushed out to the side wall. AJ trying to get there. Complexity have held the line. And now they got to do so a little bit longer. First Killer's got the catch. On the dribble, up the sidewall. AJG following in support. Gets bumped. Shot denied and set across the field. Does he get the bounce? AJ protects the ball. We go OT again in game 3.
I get so scared seeing Complexity kind of just freeze in the net. It's like, oh no. You just feel like there's a little too much space to work with. And First Killer and Co. pressing. Is AJ the only one left on goal, but thankfully has a few teammates forward, and I don't know what to make of this overtime. Definitely feel like FaZe is more in the driver's seat, starting to pull ahead in terms of the shot differential. They're at 8 to Complexity's 4. And even the previous game, I'm pretty sure Sypical by himself outshot all of Complexity with 10.
Having a day so far, hasn't he? I feel like Sypical's received a lot of criticism over the course of the season. Probably not giving FaZe, although it's the curse of being a FaZe fan, right? Top 4 always, but top 1 never. And what a save from Raise Bull as Shad pushes it across. But Typical's had a great day so far.
To be sure, and FaZe trying to continue to find ways to box in Complexity. What? He actually got there?
Oh.
How do you do it?
When you swing across like that and you flip, you don't have enough momentum to push the ball forward. Oh, here's a shot. Bang. Rebound. Goal.
You thought
I was on Raise Bull cam. I was on Raise Bull cam.
Me
I'm
too.
a fool. Oh, man.
He was dead.
Oh, that doesn't happen so often to me anymore. AJG pushing that ball across. Shot just wide. First Killer trying to get the rebound. Taken away by Raise Bull. And pushed back across. Sypical got the catch. Couldn't get it over Shad. Raise Bull's got to get this one. And it does feel like what you said before. FaZe are still in the driver's seat in this OT, despite FaZe or Complexity getting a breakout. 2 touches, and it takes it away from the Complexity rotation.
I think if Complexity had been able to see that one coming, I think they would have been right there for it. But I don't think even FaZe or Complexity thought that Complexity were going to be the ones to actually come down with that touch. I think they all kind of thought it was going to be a pinch or just poked out to the sidewall or kind of fall harmlessly straight down. But Complexity actually a little bit of a foothold here in the midfield. They may be able to set up shop for an extended stay in overtime.
Raise Bull gets the 50. If he can get a bump on the Sypical, keep him out. He's actually going to pull out of the rotation. Shad losing the 50 to AJ. AJ doing a lot of work for FaZe right now. Breaks them out. And Shad's going to get a clear back to RazeBull. Counterattack quickly. Typical's forced up for the ball. He's got it. I like that form from AJ on the breakout earlier. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Ooh, AJG taken away by AJ.
Okay, free ball. Oh, don't like that.
Going to heat up. First killer going to play it to the corner.
Really need to see Complexity take every opportunity that they have. Big double commit, though, from FaZe. Can they hang on to this one here? Of course not. First killer. He will half rotate anytime he sees that you've hit the ball too far.
Oh, typical pulling off on that. FaZe comms on point. That 50 goes the other way. What does RazeBull have here in midfield? Takes it right off the ceiling, but the follow-ups aren't there. Complexity rotation, expecting something else. Now AJ's won a big 50, and AJG keeps Complexity alive in game 3. RazeBull trying to get the clear. AJG's next up. And first killer, pass in front, but it's over to Shad. AJ forced into the air. Rebounds clear. Goal! Complexity have taken the lead in the series.
They deserve the win, to be honest. To be under pressure for almost the whole game. And finally, one time, AJ doesn't actually have the boost to execute on the play he goes for. Would have been better just driving up the backside of the net, trying to come out and make the save. Honestly, either way, think he would have been dead to rights. But Complexity, that was right out the storm for that game. They could have lost at any moment. And to make as many bonkers saves as they did, yeah, tip the cap. Defense won you a game here and puts you up in the series.
Chaos is still reigning, F. I'm getting excited.
I mean, it's working out. As we take a look at the Mobile One high performance replay here from RazeBull and then FK with the low latency answer here. Like, this was very similar. This was the low score.
Oh. Not what I'm casting in F.
You did say Vamos energy at the start.
I did say Vamos energy. I did say, man, put me on the spot. I picked Complexity.
I'm saying yes.
I'm thinking,
yes. Let's see it.
Your killer said, "Shut up, F. Dot."
He said no.
I gotta go by.
That's a juicy one too.
Ooh. Go hide in your corner, F. Dot. We'll call you when you're ready.
See you later.
That was a great opening move, though.
Yeah, right?
Killer, the triple touch to squeeze it around a defensive. How about a cheeky second one? Nah, not with enough pace to get by Shad, but couldn't ask for a better start if you're FaZe. You have been working real hard to try and break down that Complexity defense. So a nice early one out in front. You know you're going to be able to force Complexity to try and make something happen. Maybe you can capitalize because comms haven't been perfect. And in general, I really do feel like FaZe has been, in general, holding on to possession a lot more than Complexity. So gotta favor a nice early lead mixed with those other factors here in game 4.
Yeah, I really think Complexity's chances to win hinge on their counterattacking ability based on everything that you were saying. And how much will FaZe give them in that department? They're very capable of holding them in the blue half for very long periods of time. This transition from RazeBull forces AJ to the corner. This is going to allow some boost steals and some pressure buildup, but then RazeBull just doesn't get the read on the ball. AJG has to bail him out. Not the best spot to be in. Flipping forward, pops it against the corner. RazeBull redirect taken away by first killer.
AJ saw that touch off the wall from Complexity, and he didn't even think about trying to turn and challenge. He already knew Complexity's up. He just went for a straight beeline back to his net. And there again, playing very carefully in the midfield. FaZe, no. Complexity will take anything you give him and force something on target, and they're not going to be caught sleeping.
And we welcome our viewers that just came over from the Rocket League MENA stream as the MENA action was underway today. Hope you guys are enjoying the action. NA has started out to a pretty crazy start, and Complexity and FaZe has been no exception to that. Complexity in a spot where they could take down FaZe in the upper bracket. Right now, FaZe lead 1-0 in game number 4, trying to force game number 5.
A lot of space for Complexity in the midfield, but again, not too surprised. FaZe know they don't have to press too hard, and that actually could be very problematic. Oh, no. This was a disaster if you're FaZe. Just an unlucky hit right here off of first killer's car. AJ 100% had the challenge, or at least he should have had a much better look. First killer, it's not a bad idea. It only looks bad because it totally tied up his team. And if first killer had won that ball, we would have been like, oh, it's a double commit that worked out into a nice clear. But since it backfired, it's like, why? That was stupid.
RazeBull, tried to push that ball back out. That's kind of what we've been talking about with Complexity, right? It's got to be a bit dirtier from them to beat this FaZe team. And One of those tough challenges. Typical wins it, and Razebull doesn't get a touch. Typical trying to, bodies just flying everywhere. First killer's gonna get the next touch. AJG has to hope his team is ready for it, and Shad was. AJ hopped right on top of that ball, but you need that speedy line on defense to handle this FaZe offense. Complexity have it so far. Razebull in a tough spot, jumps a little early at it. AJ backflips though, and it relieves some of that pressure that would have been built from the earlier mistake.
Trying to figure out what's going on here.
Oh!
No, he missed. What? He's on the goal line, and he overdrives his approach. Look at this. It's a slow floater across. Shad knows it's going to be a shot, and just way too aggro. I think he maybe got a little bit scared of a bullet shot coming out from Typical, maybe towards the top right or something, and Typical is just trying to get that one in between the posts.
He found his mark. Complexity. Scoop the ball up back into the corner. Now have to respond again. First killer up for this. He's got the boost. He's got 20 left. That's all he needed for the reset. Razebull punches it back over to Shad. High ball. It's actually close enough to beat AJ on the play.
So smooth from Shad and Complexity as a whole, but the problem is you got to actually score a goal, and I don't know if you can count on a FaZe mishap. As I say that, there's a huge whiff, and thankfully there's two people in the net, but I'm going to take that all back right now. You can totally count on a FaZe mishap.
I think the cast occurrences are real today. Other days, you could get away with some, but not today, apparently. That shot! It's not a shot. Did Typical get bumped? Yeah, he did. Shad. Nice little wall. I'm going to start calling those chain dashes just wall wiggles. That's what that looked like on the corner from Shad. First killer. Drops that back to Typical. FaZe able to hang on in the blue half. While no shot is coming. Wasting a ton of time off the clock. Razebull going to try again here from his own half. Underneath on the reset. But Typical's ready for it. Shad and AJG trying to figure out how to move forward. It'll be AJG first, scoops it across. First killer drops it. Typical able to push it across. AJ coming back out. He's got a massive 50. AJG has to get back. He does, but Typical's ready for the clear. He's got the catch. Anything developing here for Complexity. They can't get out of their own half.
Oh, nice touch and stretch from Razebull. Actually gets a clip on AJ. That means Complexity has a chance here. First killer too speedy, and Complexity caught. That's a big miss. Shad is like, are you kidding? They actually mistouched the ball. He needed time to go grab boost. Little skip off the spoiler for first killer, and only 10 or 15 seconds here for Complexity.
It's about to happen again. AJG kicks it up high. Nothing developing. AJ misses the ball. Razebull's got a chance. No one's going to get to that touch. It's got to be Typical to hang on to the rock. AJG, no 50 for him. Shad needs a boomer. He sees AJG, and it's killed. We're going to game 5 for the second time on the main stream.
FaZe, don't give me a heart attack, guys. I need you to hit the ball. You're making me question what's going to happen in game 5. I'd like to be like, yeah, FaZe has this pretty on lock. They feel very consistent, but every now and again, it's just like, wait, they missed? And even Complexity is just sitting there like blinking their eyes like, whoa, how? Like, why would you miss that?
Not a ton in terms of the Mobile One high performance replay. Very tight game overall, but I feel as Yuzu achieves. I feel like FaZe, for the most part, really had a handle on that series, but some panic settling in at the end might have...
And to say what if. And so as we load into game number 5 here, Champions Field, I'm thinking that there's a chance.
Left Dot's got flip-flops. This series has been flip-flopping. Who stays in the upper bracket and guarantees a spot on Saturday? FaZe rarely have dropped games to teams outside that top 5 in points, but Complexity are knocking at the door. Razebull lets that one drop down. Achieves, what about you? What do you got to see for Complexity to come back and combat that FaZe, not aggression, but just the control that they had for the majority of the series?
Well, we can't have the 13 shots every game, right? Like, that doesn't inspire confidence in me, so I'm mostly always just focused on that clear game. If they find any type of avenue, even if it just means giving the ball back to FaZe and kind of dumping it back into the middle, I think they'll find themselves in a few better spots, just not having to constantly play defense right in front of their own net.
Typical, having to push this ball across. FaZe do have to play a little defense early. This first minute really went the opposite of game 4, where FaZe just stayed in the blue half. This time it's Complexity staying in the orange half. Razebull, a good 50 back over to Shad. The gotta find a setup with these 50s. Shad gets right back in front of it. And Typical, oh, he's been really difficult to get by today. Oh, skates off the back or the sidewall, interestingly, and can't commit as he has to go back in front to AJ. AJ, nothing developing there, but FaZe starting to take control here in the corner as AJG looks for a clear.
Much smoother game 5, very controlled for both teams. Not to say that the pace has taken a dip per se, but in terms of the relative positioning, it's a little less aggressive, a little less trying to force things, and to be expected on game 5. Definitely don't want to be the team that makes a big mishap and just gives away a lead for free. You'd like to make them beat you.
It does feel like if whoever does get that first goal will just be in charge of the pace of the game, because FaZe have played a little differently when they've allowed that first goal to go in.
Oh,
And so have Complexity, though. And Complexity lose that first goal, all of a sudden, FaZe have full control of the pitch for seemingly the rest of the game. That pinch from First Killer, a little nasty. Got the pass back over, but Typical had pushed himself over to the side a little bit, so that breaks the rotation down a little bit for FaZe, though they hang on to the midfield.
Got to make that block. And where do you go with this if you're Razebull? I don't know if the huge bomb towards the other corner is the play, as now it's First Killer to Typical with the 1-on-2, and nice save from AJG. Probably could have taken a little more time to let that 2v1 develop if you're FaZe Clan, but you know, they like to keep things as fast as possible, even if it's not per se the most efficient at breaking down a defender.
Redirect light from AJG. Razebull crashing the rotation. AJG's got the read, but Typical, perfect catch on the back wall. Forces the 50 back over to First Killer. As Typical continues to be the hardest working man on the pitch for FaZe today, even in these gritty games where nobody's really getting a leg up over the other. A perfect catch. Well, maybe not perfect, but he did get back to the 50.
I do think this one is edging back in favor of Complexity, not having FaZe be trying to push everything as hard and as fast as possible, giving them a little more space to operate on defense. And didn't tell you exactly why FaZe has made that change. I think they should be happy with how the previous couple of games have gone, and who knows, maybe everyone's just a little bit scared of the game 5.
Well, a couple pass attempts there from FaZe, but Complexity were all over them. Now AJG's going to wait for Typical's touch, but again, Typical just pumps it above the rotation. Shad forced up to make the 50. Razebull pushing across, hoping for a dunk, but he doesn't get it against First Killer. Typical going to push forward now as the lead blocker. First Killer back over to Sip. AJG doesn't have it. Oh, what a save off the bar! Somehow kept it out. You thought Typical was going to get the goal, but no. Complexity have kept the scoreline nil. AJG pushes it back across, and they survive for now, but for how long? Razebull, Ripper back to the side. First Killer breaks it up.
Oh, and that's a really nice touch from First Killer as well. Sets up AJ for free with a lot of space to work with, and everyone's tied up. Typical is just a step too late to get there to beat the defense. Shad uncontested here, maybe with a little touch, and that's just trying to take the ball away from FaZe Clan, and it works out beautifully. Complexity with control here in the orange corner. They hold on to it to the midfield line, lost it instantly, and now we're just trading possession back and forth. I don't know what to expect anymore.
Shad! Oh, he dropped it down. AJG! Saved by Typical. Barely gets there, and he gets skirted out of the play by AJG. Now here he is again. Uses the neutral set to get him onto the ceiling. Oh, game 5, overtime. Are you kidding me? That's so close. Here we go.
Complexity going to be kicking himself. They definitely had a chance to fire that one left side, and I think the antsiness, the pressure of needing to place it perfectly told him to be a little more conservative with the shot. Put it towards the middle of the net, made it an easy save, and now you find yourself in OT.
Razebull pushes it above one, and that was Typical, but First Killer's got the ball. AJG pushes it down. There's AJ again. Got a quick landing. He's still got the ball. Beats Razebull. Shad, the only man left, gets there in time to break up the pass. AJG now.
Oh, great
perfect
bounce.
Read on the ramp. Does he have the boost to push it forward? Off the ceiling. Here he comes. Saved by AJ. AJ slips this one across, keeping it close. No boost for him. Gets it down to First Killer. Shad's there on the rotation.
Oh, and he's got
Complexity
AJG.
want to push again. He's got the read, but Typical is there again to stop the ball. First Killer, no touch. Razebull, awkward spot. And AJ pushes back immediately to get control of the ball. AJG forced up for this. Beats First Killer just barely, and they try to combine to split the defense, but instead they've just given FaZe possession again. AJ slowing it down. Wave dash catch, and taken away by Razebull. Achieves they're hanging on by a thread. Another splitter taken away by Shad.
starting to get a little bit more back into how FaZe Clan has been playing previously in the series, trying to find ways to increase pace of play, get a little aggressive in the midfield, try and beat the defense with a little speed, dished into the middle and off the bar. AJG is going to close down the angle, and FaZe will look somewhere else.
Oh, AJ got a dunk too, but it goes away. Oh, every touch is so close that you think the challenge is going to happen, and then something else happens beyond it. First killer avoids a bump, lets it drop. Oh, no one expected that coming. AJ recovers around the ramp. It's a race and taken away by Shad. Complexity is the strongest threat of defense you've ever seen. First killer going to push that ball back across over to AJ. A hard pass. One touch, two touches. The first killer, AJG dives in front. Complexity sending every missile they have on defense to protect home base. AJG tips that one up and barely gets the touch. Here comes FaZe again, shot denied by Shad. AJG downfield, but FaZe have opened the clearing. Raiseball's in the air, he's missed! First killer drops it down and he can't get the follow-up. AJG pushes it across back over to Raiseball. And Complexity are hanging on defense. You talk about chaos, AJ's won it. And nobody's there for FaZe to follow it up. Still, Complexity hanging on. Shad gets a clear, but they can't get beyond the midfield line. Raiseball gets another one in front. Cypical lets it fly for AJ. AJ one touch, gets bumped. Shad gets a clear. Cypical got caught out. AJG racing back for the ball. First killer's got the catch, and nobody can get anything going. FaZe, with all the pressure, come up empty.
Honestly, a beautiful job from Complexity on defense as well. A lot of things could have gone wrong, and they were able to finesse the communication between each other. And almost Typical now trying to drive the nail home, and it's First Killer looking to try and break open the can one more time.
Here he comes again, Typical. He loses the touch. A breakout happens. Raiseball's there. Low bounce, pops it up. Shad's in the air. It's taken. He wins the first touch. Where's AJG? Raiseball turns instead. AJG's playing the back line. He's got the touch out. That's a risky pass, but Raiseball made it happen. Loose ball in front. Dunk. Goal!
Oh my goodness! Raiseball got all the way on the outside. First Killer had no idea that challenge was going to go that way. And Raiseball makes a prayer of a pre-flip, ends up dunking the clear attempt into the corner. Complexity going to hold off FaZe. Oh, what a sweaty game. My goodness.
F-Top, please take over.
Oh man, you know, this is what we were looking at. Now it did take all of it. We did have to go to game 5. We did have to go to the clock tick up, absolutely. But Complexity done did it. I mean, these are the steps that you look to see a team like this take. And I mean, for my money, Chiefs, FaZe is one of the better squads on the field these days.
And that record now goes to 6-10, or 6-10, because they're 5-10. So
right.
Oh man,
I mean, like, how many times were FaZe in the blue half and like they got like these weird dunks?
A bunch. They were in the
like,
blue
holy
half
moly.
A bunch.
High performance replays,
series.
correct?
yeah, go. I'm sorry.
It was such a, oh god, it's just some of the most disgusting goals you're ever gonna see out of any teams in all of North America. Like that shot from Raiseball as well. Like Complexity hit some nutty stuff. And FaZe Clan, I honestly loved their approach to the whole series. I mean, it was in your face, aggressive.